conference, and thank you, I think, Chair, for that introduction. I feel compelled to start by saying maybe it's Maybelline, but I better not. Good morning. It's great to be with you all again, and particularly, as has just been said, on such a significant day in my home city. 26 years ago today, 96 people left for Sheffield and never came back, and we do think of them all today, and their families still fighting for justice 26 years on. How can that be? How can that be right? I just want to begin by thanking this union, and indeed the whole trade union movement, for standing by them all that time when others weren't with them in the more difficult years. You never left them, you never left their side. And I think when the full story of Hillsborough is finally told, when justice finally comes, as I know it will tell a story about this country that I think people in the future will need to learn from. A story about class, and about inequality, and about how power is unevenly shared. About how the establishment has worked against ordinary people at times. And it is a story that will need to be remembered if we are to make sure this country changes for the better. It was 6 years ago today that I went to Anfield, and I heard firsthand people's sense of anger, raw anger. It was a difficult day, and I was going to say today that nothing could have quite prepared me for it, but then coming to think of it, UNISON Health Conference 2007 wasn't a bad preparation, if I remember rightly. And I mentioned those two things together. Why do I do that? Because there is a common thread between those two things. And the common thread is this: we weren't listening enough. We weren't listening enough. Here to a city crying injustice, nor to NHS staff who had genuine worries about where the NHS was headed. And in the 8 years since then, I hope you've seen a change. You've seen us working to put things right. And I want to thank this union, who've been a great friend to me down here, particularly to the leadership. Dave, Liz, Karen Jennings at the time, who was a huge support to me, Keith Birch, but also Christina. We've worked together, and many others I should name, but obviously can't go through the whole list. But we've worked together, and with your help, I think we now go into an election with a health policy to be proud of, the right policy. A policy that is about facing up to 21st century challenges, but doing so in a way that is true to NHS values, Labour values. And I hope you feel that that's where we are, and that we have a policy now that you can believe in. And that's really important, isn't it? Because the future of the National Health Service hangs in the balance on Thursday, the 7th of May. I'm going to say something now that you know to be true. This isn't political spin. The NHS can't go through another 5 years like the 5 it has just